This is going to be one of the most requested videos that I make, and that is, what is the lifestyle of investment banking? What can I expect when I join investment banking? So I'm going to summarize it in just 30 seconds. You're going to be able to afford to go on first class travel, eat at the best restaurants in the world. You're going to be able to stay at 7-star resorts. But the reality is, even though you're on vacation, you're still expected to answer work emails. You're going to be able to send your kids to private schools. You can give them whatever they want. You can afford to have a large and lavish lifestyle. But you're going to be missing out on parents' evening. There is no work-life balance as a junior investment banker. Whether you're going to be an analyst or associate, especially in the beginning, you're going to be sacrificing a lot. You're going to have to sacrifice your social life. You're going to have to sacrifice your hobbies, your health, your family life. But of course, there are benefits of joining investment banking. Otherwise, it wouldn't be the most competitive field in finance. One of those benefits is receiving a level of compensation which eclipses almost every other industry in finance. But the most important benefit of investment banking is your exit opportunity. Once you work in investment banking, you're going to develop connections and you're going to develop certain skills which will allow you to work in almost any other industry in finance. And some of those industries are even better than investment banking, like private equity or hedge fund. Firstly, let's begin with the culture of investment banking. And it's really difficult to explain the culture of investment banking unless you've actually worked there, so you can actually experience it. But I'm going to try to explain it with 4 key points. Point number 1. As a junior investment banker, your deliverables, your work is everything. No one cares how tired you are. No one cares how hard you work. No one cares how talented you are. No one cares how smart you are. The only thing that matters is you getting the work done. Another way to put it is, the end justifies the means in investment banking. And I'm not saying this to scare you, it just is. Your managing director, your associate, isn't going to care that you haven't slept for 2 days. He's not going to care that you haven't eaten for the past 2 days. Your managing director expects the work to be done on time. In investment banking, we do have a problem, and that is MDs, management directors of each team, they don't interact with junior bankers. So there's a level of segregation between MDs, VPs, associates, and analysts. So if you're a junior investment banker, an analyst or associate, you don't interact with your MD on a day-to-day basis. So your MD doesn't know how tired you are, doesn't know about your personal situation. And to be frank, they don't really care. It's in their best interest not to know about that so that they can expect the work to be done on time. And you cannot present an excuse. Point number 2, the firm owns you. So any free time that you have, you're still expected to check your emails. If you're away on vacation, you're still expected to go through your BlackBerry and still look at some of the emails that are coming through. Again, the analogy of the investment banker going to the best hotels, but they're still on their phone. It's true. I've done it, my VP's done it, my associate's done it, and if you're going to go into investment banking, you're going to have to do it as well. Point number 3, junior investment bankers are replaceable. Now, sometimes senior investment bankers, if they suspect that you're not pulling your weight, if they suspect that you're slacking off, they're going to indirectly remind you that there are thousands of undergrads, thousands of MBA graduates that would kill for your role. And they do this in order to motivate you and to try to get you to do more work, more so than what you're already doing right now. And this could be really frustrating if you're really tired, you have personal things going on, but that's what you can expect from senior investment bankers. And again, because they don't interact with you on a day-to-day basis, they don't know what's going on and they don't really care either. So whenever you hear that, it's just a sign that you should work more. But as long as you're getting your work done on time, then you shouldn't worry about anything. Point number 4, your team is everything. When you go into investment banking as an analyst or associate, you're going to be assigned a team. Now, whether you choose your team, whether you choose your industry coverage, so my industry was TMT. I was in the technology, media and telecom coverage group. So I was assigned an associate and a VP. Your team, the culture of your team, or the personality of your team is going to heavily impact your workload and your expectation. So if you get a good team, now a good team is a team that is understanding, that will distribute work evenly. And my team was great. Normally VPs, they don't really like to do much work, but my VP really took on a large proportion of work. So the workload in my team was really distributed evenly. And in that case, that gave me, the analyst, a lot of breathing room. So I didn't always go home at midnight or 2 in the morning. A lot of times I would go home and pull the same hours as my associate. And other analysts, they'll get really jealous about this. So your team, the personality of your team and their culture is going to heavily impact your workload and your experience at the investment bank. But the worst thing would probably be having a bad team. If you have a terrible team, then you're pretty much going to be scapegoated all the time. If something goes wrong, it's going to be your fault. If something's late, it's your fault. And you're going to be buried under so much work that you're going to find it unbearable. So it's important to find the right team. If I haven't made it clear enough, the lifestyle of a junior investment banking analyst is exhausting. I'm not saying this to put you off or to be provocative. I'm saying this so that you can have your expectations set correctly. A junior investment banking analyst at a bulge bracket bank and even at a boutique bank can expect to work an average of 80 to 100 hours per week. A typical workday would start from 9 to 1 a.m. And if you have pitch books or multiple pitch books, then you can expect to work much longer hours than that. And during busy periods, so when you're wrapping up a deal or when you have a really demanding client, then you're going to be in the office on Saturdays and Sundays. So during those times, make sure you book a meeting room and take naps. And don't worry, everyone takes naps in investment banking. Whenever you see an analyst in a meeting room, there's a 50% chance they're either taking a nap or 50% chance they're talking to a recruiter. So just make sure that you make full use of the meeting rooms, but just don't get caught. Now let's talk about associates. Associates tend to have it a lot better than analysts. A typical working week for an associate is between 70 to 90 hours. They can start from 9 and finish at around 11. But during busy periods, the associate is also going to be working alongside the analyst. Okay, now that I'm on the subject of workload, let me be clear. Even though investment banking analysts and associates might be in the office for 15 hours a day, we're not exactly working for the whole 15 hours. Normally, when we do a task in investment banking as an analyst, I will do the task, send it to my associate for review. I'll then get it back with a list of amendments, action off those amendments, send it back for another review, get it back again, action off more amendments, send it back. But during those periods, there are slowdowns. So you could literally be just surfing online for 3-4 hours, not doing any work. So even though we are in the office for long periods of time, we're not exactly working for the whole duration. We could be working for just half of that and we're just waiting to get the work back, or we're just in the office because our associate is in the office. Now, this has happened to me more times than I like to admit. Sometimes I'm in the office for no other reason than for the fact that my associate is in the office. Because as an analyst, you have to be seen. You have to be there. Your MDs, your senior bankers, the senior members of the team has to see you in the office. Otherwise, they're going to think that you're not working. And if they see that, they're going to dump a lot of stuff on you, and you don't want that. You'd rather sit at your desk, not doing anything, be a mind-numbing zombie just surfing online, doing online shopping, than to go home early. There's something else which I've realized after working in investment banking, and that is, even though we work long hours, but because we work long hours alongside other people, so associates, sometimes VPs, other analysts, we developed a level of camaraderie between us. So we tend to get together for lunch, for dinner, and they become our friends. Sometimes we might lose our old friends, but we get new friends. We develop new friends at the office. And to this day, my associate and I are still pretty good friends. And the VP and some of the other analysts. And that's because when you literally live at the office for 15 hours a day, 12 hours a day, you're forced to open up and to speak to the person next to you. Now, no one really understands the lifestyle of an investment banker unless they've actually worked in investment banking. And one of the things which becomes completely obvious to you after 6 months is there's no point in making plans anymore with your friends. And whenever you make plans, there's an 80% chance that you're going to have to break it because something's going to come up. You're going to get a last minute email, your client is going to call you, requires you to do X, Y, Z, and you're going to have to break your plans. So what you end up doing is, whenever you're free, whenever you're able to leave early on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday, you're just going to text your friends or call them and see what they're doing. There's no point scheduling plans a week from now, a month from now. It just never works out that way. So if you're still interested in joining investment banking after hearing all of this, then you're exactly what we're looking for because you have the right expectation. And if you want to know exactly what an investment banking analyst does on a day-to-day basis, from financial modeling to creating pitch books, then you might want to check out our investment banking modeling course, where we take you step by step through the whole process of financial modeling and creating pitch books, as well as learning how to use Excel like an investment banker, basic accounting, and creating pitch books and information memorandums. And don't forget to check out the investment banking interview questions and ideal answers so that you can ace your interviews. So now let's talk about the lifestyle of senior investment bankers, starting with VPs, vice presidents, and MDs, managing directors. Now at the VP level, your hours are a lot better than associates. You're talking about between 70 to 80 hours a week. And sometimes it can even be as low as 60 hours a week. But more importantly, as a VP, you get to schedule your own work week. So if you want to pop out and have dinner with someone on Wednesday night, you can schedule that. If you want to travel for the weekend, you can schedule that. You have a lot more control over your schedule at a VP level than you do at an associate level, and virtually no control at an analyst level. So that's one of the biggest upside once you reach a senior management level. The role of a VP is to liaise between the managing director and the rest of the team. So you're going to be pretty much delegating tasks. The managing director wants a pitch book done. The VP will then delegate the role to the associate or to the analyst and will then be in charge of the delivery of that task. So VPs will set the direction of presentations, will schedule meetings, and will delegate who's going to do what task and by when it needs to get done. Now, if you have a good vice president, if you have a good VP, then sometimes your VP will even contribute and actually do some work, but it's not necessary at the VP level. A really bad VP is when they won't do any work, but just to justify their presence and to make themselves feel better, they will give you, the analyst or the associate, unnecessary work just to justify their presence. A quick note to all incoming analysts and associates: make sure that you befriend your VP, because VPs have the power to task candidates and to literally, if a VP sees that you're not working, they could pretty much just draft you on a task. And if they don't know your personal situation, if they don't know that you're already behind on your work, the worst thing that can happen is to be drafted on even more work. So it's important that you open up to your VP and to befriend your VP professionally at least, just so that they know what you have going on, just so that they know how your workload is, what you've been up to. So just make sure that you're always in contact with your VP. So now let's talk about the lifestyle of a managing director. Now, at the managing director level, it's completely different. Here, you're pretty much in charge of the team. And working hours at the MD level is probably the best. You were talking around 50 to 60 hours a week. But managing directors start really early, around 7, sometimes even 6 in the morning, but they get to finish around 6 or 7 at night. Now, whilst hours at the MD level is great, but they do tend to travel a lot, and you can pretty much predict that they're going to be traveling 3 out of 5 days a week. And they travel to client site for meetings, just to keep up with clients, pitching new clients, and they're always traveling. So a lot of the times you're going to receive emails whilst your MD is on the go, whilst they're traveling somewhere, and they might need something, so you have to quickly email it to them where they are. But really at this stage, a lot of the pressure is about bringing in new clients, pitching new clients. You will see a lot of them fight over clients, fight over credentials, fight over awards, fighting over some of the best staff to join their team. And they have to do that in order to justify the compensation. Some of them will even fight if they don't even get the compensation which they think they deserve. And you will see that a lot of them jump from bank to bank. So one MD used to work at Morgan Stanley, but then jumps to Goldman Sachs, then jumps to Credit Suisse. And they all tend to jump from everywhere. It's really strange, but that's just how it is in investment banking, especially in mergers and acquisitions and capital markets. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the lifestyle of junior investment bankers and senior investment bankers. And if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe, hit like, and drop me a comment if you have anything. If you want me to cover a specific area of investment banking, whether it's how to get into investment banking, how to schedule interviews, whatever it is. Now, just to be clear, my area is mergers and acquisitions, so I can give you specific advice for that, and general advice for every other area in investment banking. And my team coverage was TMT, Technology, Media and Telecom. So coming up next, I'm making a video on the difference between investment banking and investment bankers, which I think a lot of you need to understand, because there is a huge difference between them and not a lot of people understand that. And because of that miscommunication, some people assume that what people do in sales and trading is what you do in investment banking, but they're completely two different areas. Some people assume that what people do in equity research is investment banking because the roles are quite similar, but they're very different. They're different industries. It requires different skill sets. I'll put a link in the description below, or it'll be on the video here somewhere. And of course, check out our free members area where I cover examples of interview questions, resumes, cover letters, as well as giving you some examples of how to break into investment banking easily. And also be sure to check out our investment banking interview guide for a list of all investment banking interview questions and word-for-word answers to make sure that you ace your interview, as well as the financial modeling course to take you on a step-by-step process on how to build financial models and pitch books. And within that course, we've created a virtual work experience program, which is designed to get any beginner to someone that can confidently model companies efficiently.